Today we're going to be talking about how to get unstuck. And this is specifically if you've already been doing a little bit of inner work and you feel like you know in your mind what you want to do next, but you just can't seem to actually step into this next level. This is something that I actually get asked a lot. The question is actually around how to get into embodiment, like how to actually fully embody this new version of you. And you can know in your mind who this new version is. You can know the actions that you want to take, the things that you want to launch, the projects that you want to get started on, the relationships that you want to work on, but you just can't seem to do it. You just can't seem to take the actions that you know you need to take. The issue here is you have all the awareness, but you just haven't actually implemented it and embodied it. So I'm going to be walking you through today how to actually start embodying your next level self so that you can get unstuck. Okay, so step one, you're going to have to just accept where you are right now. I know this is really counterintuitive, but just stay with me, guys. You know I always say things opposite to probably how you think they should be, but the opposite is usually actually always true than what your ego tells you it is, okay? And so right now, if you're in a rut or you're stuck or you're frustrated with your circumstances, it's very likely that you're fighting where you're at right now. And because you're fighting where you're at right now, you are basically sacrificing on clarity, okay? When you're fighting the way that you're showing up, your identity, your circumstances, you're putting all your awareness, all your focus on the current circumstances, and then that perpetuates the current energy, the current situation, the current frequency that you're existing within. And so how you start to transcend the current energy that you're in and the current circumstances that you're in, because those are two and the same, one and the same, is you have to accept everything. Accept where you're at right now. Accept it fully and let it go. Surrender it, if you prefer that word, some people do. That gives you your energy back because you stop fighting with whatever situation you're in. Accept it. Okay, I've been out of whack. Okay, I've been out of my flow. Okay, I'm not sure where I'm going next. Okay, I've been very stuck. Just face the situation that you're in with compassion and accept it fully. Surrender to it. Okay, now we're going to get into a little bit of an exercise together. This is actually going to be really practical. I didn't know the video was going to go this way, but here we are. So if you've been lingering around the threshold of another level for a long time, let me give you an example. Let's say you are really wanting to launch this business, right? You have this business idea, you really, really want to launch it, and you've been talking about it and thinking about it for months and months and months. I've done this before, no judgment, but you're just on the threshold, waiting to get ready, waiting to get ready, waiting to get ready. And you just can't seem to get ready enough to actually start. I want you to take a pen and a piece of paper. And I want you to just, first of all, write down what it is that you want, okay? So first, write down, what is this next level for you? Your desired next level. What does it look like? What are you doing differently? What projects are you working on? How different does your day look, right? So this doesn't need to be a 5-year or a 10-year vision, just your next chapter, your next phase. What do you actually want to be doing? Write those things down right now on a piece of paper. I had to come up with an example to walk through this with you guys. So let's say we've got Lisa here, and Lisa is basically someone who owns a wellness corporation. And Lisa's next level, let's say she's been meandering around doing like small little events in her local area, but she's really yearning for this to be a much bigger impact than it has been. And she's been wanting that for years. And so let's say the next level for Lisa is she's running full scale, like week-long retreats. She's hiring a team of instructors and nutritionists, and she's starting to run ads and really push the social media and push her own face and her own content to get this thing off the ground. This has been Lisa's desire for years, okay? And now she's starting to feel really stuck and really in a rut because she has all these ideas and she just can't seem to act on them. So what Lisa would write down is running events, running week-long events for women's health, for wellness, hiring a team of people, running ads and pushing and growing social media, let's say to 20,000 followers, okay, on Instagram. And she goes through and she writes this out, and then she realizes she needs to make professional content. Maybe she needs to get her hair done. Maybe she needs to get on camera, etc., etc. So the goal of this exercise is just to really get your wheels turning as to like what actions, like tangible physical actions are involved in this next level that you're stepping into. Step 2, I want you to just tune in for a little minute. I want you to visualize whatever your next level looks like. And I want you to feel and notice any resistance that you have to that next level. Okay? Don't logic this. I don't want you thinking. Try to turn down the volume on your chattery mind and your thoughts that are just coming at you, trying to give you this logical this, that. Just don't listen to that for a minute. I want you to feel into this. When you visualize this next level, I want you to feel into any discomfort, any tightening, any pain, any kind of blocked sensation or constricting energy within you physically. Any darkness, anything like where it feels like it's getting dim or low. I want you to feel into that. That is resistance, okay? So step 2 is we're going to note the resistance to this next level. Now that you've defined it, note the resistance to the next level. I want you to know that the majority of people, most of us, including myself, have an automatic thought process when it comes to ascending to another level. Typically, our brain is trying to keep us in the known and the familiar because it feels safer, simply because it's known. And when we're about to step into another level that's quite different to what we've been experiencing before, that has more exposure, maybe more responsibility, then our minds send out warning signals and they perceive that next level, because it's unknown, as a threat automatically, because it's not known, it's unfamiliar, okay? And so you might, because your brain is like assessing this next level and it's seeing it as unsafe, as dangerous, and as threatening, it's going to generate these thoughts, these ideas, these beliefs about this next level that are not even true. They're not true. It's just an illusion. It's a veil. It's a falsehood, right? About this next level to stop you from moving towards it. And this is really deep. This is really spiritual, but really at the core of this is the fact that if you're stepping into a level that is very different, you're going to have to be a different version of you, which means an old version of you is going to have to die. So that old version of you is going to kick and scream and shout and tell you all these stories subconsciously. You're not going to be actively thinking this and sending all these limiting emotions to go with those stories to stop you from even thinking about going to that next level, or to keep you focused on all the things that don't really matter. And that's what prevents you from going to the next level. So it's either going to keep you distracted or keep you focusing on the negative or potentially negative or fearful sides of this next level so that you don't step forward into it. So as you're tuning into this next level, I want you to ask yourself these questions. The first one is, what would be painful about this next level? What is painful about this next level? Painful could mean uncomfortable. Painful could mean scary. So what's painful, scary, or uncomfortable about this next level? In our example with Lisa, maybe Lisa getting on camera, she sees that as really, really uncomfortable and scary and painful. Or running an event for a week, the idea of that is terrifying to her, okay? And so write down, what is painful, scary, or uncomfortable? Is it putting yourself out there? Is it getting on camera? Is it facing a fear? What is it? Is it taking on more responsibility? Is it getting more exposure? And then you're going to ask yourself, why? Why is that so painful? Why is that action in your mind? Why do you have a negative association with it? Typically, you'll find the answer to this is going to be something along the lines of, because I don't think I can do it. Because I feel like I won't be able to. Okay, the next thing you can ask yourself is, what would be bad about me achieving everything in this next level? What would be negative or bad or just undesirable about me achieving everything that I desire? Next question, what would I lose? What do I think I would lose by stepping into this next level? By the way, we're doing shadow work here. Just FYI. So you can, if you're sticking with me through this video, you can pat yourself on the shoulder and say, I did my shadow work today. So now that you've gained awareness as to your general resistances subconsciously to this next level, I want you to move on to step 3 now and ask yourself, what part of you resists this next level the most? Because here's the thing, a part of you desperately wants you to stay where you are. Otherwise, you would have moved by now. It is serving you. It is serving a part or multiple parts of you to stay where you are. If it didn't serve a part of you, you would have moved by now to the next level, okay? So I want you to now identify that part as much as you can. What part of you loves this level where you are right now? And this is going to be the same part of you that does not want to go, that resists the next level the most. So let's say for Lisa, there's a part of Lisa who's really comfortable in running these kind of shorter one-day events, in doing it in her local community, in keeping social media small and limited. And as she reflects on this, Lisa realizes that the part of her that resists the next level the most is the one that fears getting everything taken away. It's the part that fears being judged or exposed for not really being that good. And as she digs in, you want to keep digging into this part and really figure out what's at the root of it. At the root of this for Lisa is the part of her that fears that she's not good enough, maybe, let's say. Once you've got this part of you that's loving staying the same and doesn't want to go to the next level, once you've identified them and you start to realize that they're even there in the first place and they're the reason that you're so attached to your circumstances right now you can work with that part of you, okay? So how do you do that? You have to speak to that part, okay? And so the next thing that you've got to do is I want you to ask this part of you what they're so scared of and have a conversation with them. You can do this in written format if you're writing down, or you can close your eyes and meditate. You can pull this part of you out of you and you can have a conversation with them in a meditative state. And you can ask them the following questions. Why are you so afraid of this next level? What are you protecting me from by keeping me here? If I were to step into this next level, how would you feel? And just let that part of you speak. Just vent it out in your notebook, or let that part of you speak in your mind in a meditative state. And once you've heard them out, then you can go and reassure them. So first of all, you want to let them know, I hear you, I see you, I'm with you, I am here for you, I'm not going to leave you alone ever again. I love you, I accept you. Everything you said, I understand, and I am with you, okay? Let them know you're on their side. You don't want to keep rejecting them. That's going to keep them there. And then you want to go in and you want to reassure them with whatever they need to hear to start to register that it's safe to let go of this resistance and this fear and this false belief that they have. For example, when that part was purging, they might have told you something they're really fearful of, something that happened before. They might have told you where they even came from, how you might realize how old they are, how they even came to exist. And so what you want to do is you want to let them know, hey, we're not 10 anymore. We're not 5 anymore. We're not in this situation anymore. Look, you don't have to keep carrying this. I'm going to look after us. We're strong. We're capable. We can do this. It's not what it was before, and you are safe to let this go. And then once you do that, you'll notice that this energy starts to shift and clear out of your system. Almost always, that's going to remove the block that's stopping you from stepping into the next level. I mentioned in a video a couple of weeks ago that the final boss in this video game of life and in this level that you've been trapped in is your shadow. It's always going to be a part of you. You can never step into another version of you unless you sacrifice an old version of you, which is going to mean an old part of your old identity, okay? And so this is how you do that. And it's not even sacrificing like you're getting rid of it, you're actually integrating it, okay? So you're taking something that was repressed and pushed into the shadow, and you're taking it out and you're processing it and integrating it so it stops controlling you subconsciously. This is going to be the biggest thing that shifts your energy. I know this is not very glamorous, but this is what actually works. And I'm only going to give you stuff that actually works. So now that you've freed up this energy, now that you've named the part, you've worked with it, and you've released it, Now you can move on to the fun stuff, which is anchoring into the new self. So you need to be this new self to step into this new reality. This is good news, okay? So I think this is step 4. This is good news because what this means is basically you don't have to keep worrying about how you're going to do this next thing. You don't need to worry about how you're going to execute the perfect VSL, or you're going to launch the perfect program, or you're going to figure it out perfectly. Because it's not going to be you. It's going to be the next level version of you who already knows how to do it. And so the reason that you've been stuck, now that you've come through the trench with me and you've done the shadow work with me, I'm going to give you the goodies. The reason that you've been stuck is because you've been trying to figure out the next level as the old self. And the old self cannot know how, because the old self can only know the how of the old reality. So you've basically just been trying to fumble in the dark and figure out the steps and the ways how, when actually you need to get back into your body, you need to shift your energy, and then the lens that you're seeing reality through changes, and then you know how automatically, okay? So when you shift your energy, when you shift your identity, when you shift your frequency, you don't need to worry about how, you don't need to worry about circumstances, you don't need to worry about anything in physical reality. That happens automatically, because everything in your physical reality that you are experiencing, that you are perceiving, is a byproduct. It's a byproduct of the energy that you're embodying, that the identity that you are standing in. So the moment that you start showing up in a new identity is the moment that you start seeing things differently, and it's the moment that your actions automatically change as a result. So for step 4, you're going to do what I love to do. I love this exercise so much. You're going to define the version of you who's in this next level, okay? So you're going to write a stick figure like this. And I want you to visualize back into this next level that you defined, and I want you to picture yourself in that level. The version of you who this level, this experience is easy and natural for, okay? Who is doing all of these things to the old version of you seem really scary and out of reach, but to them it's like breathing. It's effortless, it's natural, it's easy, it's just who they are, it's what they do. And define that version of you right now on a piece of paper. And you can ask yourself, what are their habits? How do they carry themselves? How do they speak about themselves? Define them in their characteristics. Are they more loyal? Are they more loving? Are they more open? Are they more forgiving? Are they more patient? Are they more courageous? Are they more bold? Do they have more audacity, right? Are they more authentic? Start naming those out. Then you can get into what are their habits? What are their routines? What are their standards? And what are their boundaries? And you might want to pause and list out all those questions and actually go through and write them out. Because typically, you can't get into the next level. So let's say you're driving around in this old beat up car. That's your old identity. I'm sorry. That's your old identity. And you're trying to drive into this new dimension, but you have to get out of the old car and get into a new car first if you actually want to make it into the new dimension. The vehicle that you've been in and you've been operating in, the standards that you have, the boundaries that you have, the characteristics that you've been embodying, they're not the correct wiring for you to correspond with this next level. And so as soon as you start changing those, everything around you starts to change, and you actually start to access what you've been wanting all along, because you stopped thinking about it and you started actually being it. So as you go through this exercise, you might realize, wow, I need to set some boundaries around this. This is really common, by the way, when you grow. Typically growth is just you continuously setting new standards and setting new boundaries and being okay with letting go of the old way of doing things again and again and again. Once you've done that, step 5, we're going rapid fire with this. Step 5, I want you to write down, what can you do today? What are 3 decisions you can make? What are 3 actions you can take today to show yourself that you are this new version of you? Because that is embodiment at the end of the day. We can do all the inner work, we can do all the healing, we can do all the purging, we can do all the meditations, everything. But you have to actually play out this new character in an old reality for a little while before reality can start to shift. You basically have to train and teach reality that you're not the same person that you were before. And you actually do that, first of all, with your energy, and then with your action, okay? So first your energy, first your identity, and then the actions that you take. They're also really important. You need all of those components. You can't just sit there in the energy and wait for things to happen. As soon as you realize, you know what, this version of me would show up like this, you have to take those actions now, not when you're ready, because you're never going to be ready. You are never, ever going to be ready. Doing it before you're ready is how you finish reprogramming your identity. When you do something physically that you've never done before, that is miles outside your comfort zone, but that you know is aligned with this new version of you, you basically show yourself, hey, look, we've changed. We are not the old self, because look what we're doing. So it helps to reprogram your paradigm and your self-concept when you act in alignment with this higher version, with this new version of you, and you do things even though you're not ready and you jump before you're ready. The thing is, you are never going to be ready. You can't wait on the sidelines watching other people swim, get in the pool and swim, trying to learn how to swim on the side of the pool. You can't do that. You need to get in the water. You need to just start. So what are 3 actions you can take? What are 3 decisions you can make right now that correspond with this next level version of you? And this is also how you start building self-trust, which is what you need actually more than anything. How can you just do something today that scares you, that you know is going to align you? That's what's going to get you unstuck quicker than anything else. So to summarize, how to get unstuck when you're at the precipice of another level and you know what to do, but you just can't seem to do it. Write down what this next level involves. Get really clear on what the experiences are, what the vision is, what the goals are, what you're going to actually be physically doing. Then the second thing you want to do is identify any resistance that you have to that next level. What are you thinking about it? What are you believing about it? What are you finding scary, painful, or uncomfortable about it? What do you find negative or bad? What are you associating with it that could be negative or bad? What do you think you might lose by stepping into that next level? Identify the resistance. And then you want to tune in and name the part of you that's holding this resistance, that's holding the most resistance to the next level. Work directly with that part to reassure them that this next level is safe. Step number 4, you want to identify the version of you who this next level is easy and natural for. Fully, in full color, detail, every little thing you can think of, you want to write it down and get super clear on it. And then step number 5, what are 3 things you can do today to show up as that version of you right now, even though you're not ready? Because the starting is what gets you ready.